Hey, sports and drafts fans, it's Sunday, 9 a.m. It's your NFL pre-week one pregame show with Dave and Chuck. We'll be here every Sunday to get you all ready for the week, get our picks out there for you, and just talk a little bit of NFL football because that's what we do. We talk NFL football and we talk the Brewskis. And, we've got we're going to be picking our playoff winners, Super Bowl winners, get our predictions in there. I know I won't win with my pick, but it'll be a fun Super Bowl to watch if it does happen. And and then we're going to go ahead and pick week one. I totally forgot about this. Dave sent me the spreads for week one. So we'll go ahead and get our picks in for week one. I can't believe it's here already, Dave.
I'm excited. I'm thankful. It kind of sucks when it's not football season.
It does. There's a lot of great sports out there. I mean, for the last, 10, 15 minutes, we've been talking live golf and a lot of good sports out there. But the show is now NFL and beer, and that's why we're here. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you that today I got another Arizona beer. I bought a 12-pack. It's a mixed case because one of the ones in there is a prickly pear, which I bought for your mom during, I think it was maybe last year's annual beer day. I went and bought some beers for them and took them over to their house, and it was from Grand Canyon Brewing, but it was like a prickly pear IPA or something like that. But today I've got their Sunset Amber Ale from Grand Canyon Brewing Company. It's a 5.5 ABV, and their story. I just gotta, nothing captures a warm Grand Canyon sunset quite like our Sunset Amber Ale. And it goes on down. It says, enjoy the painted skies of the Arizona sunset. I mean, they got a nice, whoever wrote that copy on the back was really good. But yeah, it's a nice, I know you like ambers, and it's a nice, I haven't even tried it yet. And, but it's got a great color, and I did try one of their other ones last night and it was good. But, it's actually got or something in almost a hint of citrus of some sort. Makes it actually a little less warm and a little more refreshing for an amber. And but a good beer. And so thank you, Grand Canyon, for letting me purchase it. I guess because you didn't give it to us, because we're not big enough to have beer sponsors yet. But if you'd like to be the first beer sponsor for football beer, that's why we're here. We're open to hearing you out. And Dave, so what do you got on tap today, Dave?
I have a Mason Ale Works Checkerboard Rainbow Hazy Double IPA. It's got some nice famous artwork collab on it, and nice. It's an 8% double hazy.
Ooh.
So big beer for a big show. Nice and hazy. It's good. I took a couple sips already. I would definitely drink this again. It's got a good flavor to it.
It's awesome. And 8% is that's either a sipping beer or almost a one a night. Unless you have other plans for the night to party on. Wayne, party on, Garth.
It's not a hard. It's not a hard 8% either. It's pretty easy drinking for an 8%er.
Really?
And a double IPA. It's usually some of the doubles are a little bit palate blasting for me, but this one's pretty smooth. So yeah, I like this one. I might get some more. This one can cost me $5 at the local liquor store. So I might go back and grab a couple more of those. It's pretty good.
That's a pint though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not bad then. 8% on a pint. That's a good. I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, $6, great deal.
So I'm copying in all of the spreads so I can put them on the screen here. So yesterday, I played a little golf. I mowed the yard, and then you texted me about watching the Oregon Ducks game. And yesterday was not a good day to be an Oregon Duck fan, was it?
No, it looked terrible, especially on the defensive side. Just no tackling. It was basically that simple. No tackling, and then it was Coach Lanning for Oregon. He was the defensive coordinator for Georgia, so he should have known the team pretty well since he recruited and worked with
Right.
85% of the players that we played against. Probably should have known the court, all of it. I mean, he worked with the head coach on the other side, and maybe, I don't know. I just expected a lot more competitive game with two coaches that have worked together, so you know each other, so you know what they do, don't do, weaknesses, things like that. So if it came down to just players, Georgia's players were a heck of a lot better yesterday than Oregon's players, and it showed. I mean, I texted one person. I said it was like watching the JV play the varsity. I mean, that's what it looked like. They were coming up and hitting, and the Oregon kids looked tentative. They weren't tackling. And then it was really funny. I think Molly McGrath was the sideline reporter, and at halftime she talked to Oregon's Coach Lanning, and he said something about knowing how to frustrate Bennett, the Georgia quarterback, and all that stuff. And so then the commentator, after she was done, was like, well, if he knows, he should probably start doing it because they're down by 30. So did you want to frustrate him at the start of the game since you knew that? When are you going to pull out this gem? Like, when's this going to happen? Because it's not happening. The kid was like 16 for 18 with 3 touchdowns in the first half or something. It's like, oh, yeah, you've got his number for sure. Yeah. And I was just like, why would you make that comment? You're getting buried and he's killing you.
Yeah.
Like, I did not give me a lot of great confidence moving forward in this season because I was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Like, why would you say that? He's burying you right now. This kid, this is his first start in the 5 years he's been at Georgia, basically, and he's demolishing you. Like, yeah, it was awful. It was terrible to watch.
Well, hopefully, I get it. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely expected rebuild season. I know you said, about bringing in these transfer quarterbacks every year that Oregon's been doing. We haven't developed a quarterback since Herbert. And, every year it's just been, who can we get off the waiver wire, transfer portal. And so, but you had stated earlier when we were talking pre-show that, they just need to develop a guy, and it's probably not a bad year to do that. They're honestly, you could have come into the season and said, hey, we're going to have a fantastic program in a couple years. And, we're going to go out and compete. We're going to do everything we need to do to represent the Pac-12 and represent Eugene and this organization and Nike, who funds us so well. But you know what? The reality is, maybe a couple of years, but you go out and you get this Bo Nix and bring him in. There's a lot of expectations, I think, to perform. And I think they, that fans may, loyalists like us just may have too high of expectations.
Oh yeah. I think you're right. I mean, the coaching staff has changed every year for like the last 4 years. The program just wasn't where it was, say, when Chip Kelly left, Bellotti. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not the same.
No.
We're not getting in, I don't think, the same caliber of recruits. I haven't seen any DeAnthony Thomases, any LaMichael Jameses, even any Royce Freemans. I haven't seen, big time. I mean, Thibodeau was good last year, but Sewell is supposed to be an All-American middle linebacker, and I don't think I saw him make one play yesterday in one of the biggest games of his collegiate career. I didn't see him anywhere. And usually we have great defensive linemen. We put no pressure on Georgia's quarterback the whole entire game. He had, freedom to do basically whatever he wanted. The one time we did pressure him, we couldn't tackle him. He got away and threw a touchdown to a guy that was wide open with no one 30 yards around him. And they were only on like the 24-yard line. So I don't know how a guy gets wide open with no one 30 yards away from him when they're only 20 yards away from the end zone, but that happened. So yeah, it was just awful all around.
So transitioning back over to the NFL. So what do you want to do? You want to do picks first? You want to do our playoff picks? You want to do week 1 picks or playoff predictions?
Let's go ahead and just do our playoff predictions
Okay.
first.
All right. I got to bring back up my notes over here. Because where I wrote them down here. So I had picked in the NFC. I had picked the Packers, Cowboys, Bucks, and Rams to win their divisions, and so did you. I think we were both this in the AFC: Bengals, Colts, Bills, and Chargers. Did you pick the Chargers? DNC, yeah. Chargers, yeah. DNC. So we all picked the same division winners in both the AFC and NFC. I actually, coming out of the NFC, I actually have an NFC championship game, and I changed this probably 5 minutes before the show because I had the Packers going to the NFC championship, but then I thought they don't have the receiving core to do it.
Who are your wild cards in the NFC?
Wild cards, yeah.
Who are your 2 that don't win their division that you got?
So Cardinals and the Eagles, and so I, yeah, Cardinals, Eagles. But I come down to an NFC championship between the Bucks and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals being the wild card team, they'll be quiet there, but they'll make it to the NFC championship game. And here's why, because a lot of people look at DeAnthony Hopkins suspended for like 6 games or whatnot. And they pick up Marquise Brown, who is, I think, a great receiver. And it may be a tough start for them, for the Cardinals. Still have James Conner. I think he's going to still be a strong force for the Cardinals. And so the second half of the season, or the second third of the season, they'll have both Marquise Brown and DeAnthony Hopkins and Zach Ertz. Yeah, I mean, they've got the weapons for Kyler Murray. And so I think the Cardinals will be a strong last half of the season team and go into the playoffs stronger than others with more weapons on offense and defense. So I picked the Bucks and the Cardinals to make it to the NFC Championship game. So I'll leave it there. I won't say who's going to win yet. I'll ask you who do you think is going to make it to the NFC Championship game?
NFC, so my wild cards, I'm going to take my 49ers, and I'm also going to take the Eagles. Another team I had close fighting with the Eagles is the Vikings. I had them close to making it, but I'm going to take the Eagles because I think their defense might be a little bit better. But I have Eagles-Vikings close to that 6th. And then I have my NFC Championship game going to be the Rams because they didn't really lose much, I don't feel like. So until someone knocks them off, I think they still got pretty great defense. They have good offense. And then I'm going to say the Bucks, just because you got Brady back. I think they might take a slight hit back this year, but they have almost everybody back. And I don't imagine he's going to keep continuing to play and retire and come out of retirement again. If I had to guess, this will be his last season. And so they're going to be all in. All the chips are in. I mean, he's playing for a championship or retirement. So I think they're really going to have that push. So I'll go Rams, Bucks.
So who do you have winning the NFC Championship game?
I have the Rams going back.
Okay.
Just like I said, they're on defense with Donald there. Now they got Bobby Wagner right behind him. They still have Jalen Ramsey, one of the best cornerbacks in the league there. Little on the outside makes tackles. He also gets pressure. Yeah, just until they get beat. I don't see anyone in the NFC that got extremely better anywhere. Your Cardinals, if they're healthy, getting Marquise Brown once Hopkins gets back. That's good. J.J. Watt's back off of injury if he's still got enough in the tank, which I think he does since he's a Hall of Famer. I see you guys definitely be better than maybe other people would project. But as far as the other teams go, I don't really know if I saw them get any better. I didn't see Dallas get any better. I thought they lost more than they gained. I thought the Packers probably lost more than they gained by losing Devontae Adams just alone. I didn't see anyone get extremely better. Maybe the Eagles got a little bit better. The Bucks about the same. The Rams pretty much the same. The 49ers the same. So I don't know. But until I see someone get extremely better, I have to take the team that won it last year.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining the show, by the way. And Jalen Ramsey is overrated. You know, he did get burned in the Super Bowl. And, you know, one of the plays you can say he got held. And but, you know, at the same time, he was holding. I mean, there was another Bengals touchdown in there that he was holding that wasn't called, you know, that should have been a Bengals touchdown. And so, no, I agree. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a little tougher for the, and again, thanks for joining the show, watching on YouTube. And, but I think it's going to be tougher for the Rams to get back and repeat this year. So, you know, so in my NFC Championship, I got the Bucks making it there. I agree with you on that one. But I'm going to be a little bit of homer since I'm here in Arizona. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said, you know, Anthony Hopkins coming back, along with Marquise Brown, going to be a stronger receiving core. It's going to be able to open up the field for Kyler Murray to run, to dump it off to Zach. And I think their defense is still going to be strong and this year. So I see them making, you know, at once they get DeAnthony back, was it after 6 games? They're going to really start getting up, and by then Marquise Brown will be in the groove. So actually, I have the Arizona Cardinals winning the NFC Championship game. I know, you know, I'm going to be way out there, but I think that I think they got more going than the Rams. You know, it's hard to repeat, and it's really, I think, a make or break year for Cliff Kingsbury there here in Arizona, and so. So I got the Cardinals making it to the Super Bowl this year. You know, I know I'll be wrong on that, but it'll be fun to watch. And if I'm right, I'll look like a genius. And if not, nobody's really going to care that I was wrong, because a million other people are going to be wrong with their picks. You know, people are going to actually pick Dallas to go to the Super Bowl. You know, and probably not going to happen. And but. Okay, so let's take a look at the AFC, and so who do you have in your AFC for yeah? Okay, so not the 5'6" corner, 5'10", but yeah, it's you know, it's like I said, it's a make or break year for Cliff Kingsbury. Kyler just signed, you know, a big contract. I would have been okay if they had gone out and got another quarterback this year. I'm not sold on Kyler Murray, but he can make plays. He's accurate with the football and good with his feet, and that's what this team is about. If you go and get a different quarterback, you're changing the entire dynamic of the team, and it's just not as easy to get it, you know, within a year to try to be competitive, to put in a whole new scheme. If you go in and get, say, a pocket quarterback or something, and so this team is built on speed and running. You know, I think. Again, James Conner, I think he'll have another good year, and for the Cardinals, and so I think they'll be competitive, and I think they're a little more dynamic than the Rams. So, but thanks for watching the show. Hey, so okay, AFC. So who do you got in the playoffs and making it your wild cards, making it there to the AFC Championship game?
So my wild cards, I have the Chiefs, because I don't have them winning the West. I have the Chargers. So I have Mahomes taking that 5 spot. And then the 6th spot, I have the Bengals winning the AFC North, but I have the Ravens there taking the wild card spot. So I have Chiefs, Ravens as my wild cards. And then my AFC Championship game, I have the Buffalo Bills against the Chargers. I think both of those teams, I feel are very balanced on each side of the ball now, especially with the Chargers getting C.J. Jackson. They also, if they get a healthy Khalil Mack, that's a huge gain for them with already having Joey Bosa on the side. They have Darwin James at safety. Now you put C.J. Jackson back there. You got some good secondary back there. Then we got our boy Herbert throwing it all over the place. You got Eckler running it and catching it. You got Allen, Williams. I think they have enough if they put it all together to do it. And if they don't, I really feel like a lot of it might be coaching because they have a ton of talent now on both sides of the ball. And then the Bills were so close last year. They got knocked out, right before the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, and maybe one of the best games anyone's ever seen, especially if you like offense. If you like defense, you might not think as much about that game. But Josh Allen, he's going to be there. The defense got Von Miller, so now you got more veteran leadership on that side of the ball. He's a bonus to a team that already played well last year. I got the Bills, I got the Chargers, and I actually have the Bills beating the Chargers, even though I would love to see the Chargers win the game. I think the Bills might put it all together this year.
Okay. Solid. No, that's absolutely solid. Hey, before we move on to my AFC, I just want to say good morning to Jim and Cindy. Thanks for watching the show. And also, Kim, good to see you back. Joining the show with us. Good morning to everyone, wherever you're watching. So, I had picked, I got to go back a little bit. So I picked the Bengals, Colts, Bills, and Chargers. And I probably think that the Ravens, definitely will be in the wild card mix. And along with probably the Raiders, they'll probably be good enough. And so probably, I've got them, but realistically, I'm a little bit different from you. I do have the Chargers making it to the AFC Championship game, but rather than the Bills, I've picked the Bengals to get back there. And I actually picked the Chargers to win the AFC. Again, probably a little bit of a homer. Justin Herbert, Oregon Duck. This team has just been on the upswing the last 2 years. They're getting better and better every year. They've added to their defense, and so I'll tell you what: if they can slow down teams, they can score points. So if they can slow down teams, it's going to be hard to beat them. And so I actually have the Cardinals and the Chargers going to the Super Bowl this year, and there's my prediction. And I actually have the Chargers winning the Super Bowl over the Arizona Cardinals. And so neither one of those teams will probably be there at the end, but that's my prediction. So your Super Bowl, you have the Rams and was it the Bills?
Yeah, the Bills.
Rams and the Bills. That would be a fun game to watch. And so who do you have if the Rams and Bills in Super Bowl? Who's winning?
I have the Bills this year. Yeah. I have the Bills going all the way this year.
Of that matchup, I would take the Bills also. And because I already have the Rams losing in the playoffs. So I think you have a solid.
The only thing I worry about is Bills' run game. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sold on their running backs and their running back committee, and if they could run the ball if they needed to. I think that's their biggest weakness on their whole team is their run game, their running backs. So that may hold them back this year. We'll see.
Very nice. All right, so hey, let's we got our predictions in. Over the last few weeks, we've got all of our division winners. Now we've got our playoffs, our Super Bowl predictions in. And we'll see what kind of geniuses we are in February. So let's go ahead and transition because we have week 1 of actual football coming up in front of us. And so we want to go ahead and get our picks in locked in for week 1. So if you're watching the show, feel free to put in the comments as we go through these games of who you think you're going, who will pick. And I know you sent me the spreads just before the game or just before the show. So is first team listed home team or second?
It'll say at.
Oh, it
So
does
it's
say
on
at.
there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to say it. So the Bills are at the Rams, and the Bills are favored by 2.5. So this is your Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and so I guess you got to just go straight up and say the Bills are. I'll take the Bills by a field goal.
Yeah, so I was maybe sneaky with my pick because I knew they were week one. I think I gotta take the Bills. I picked them in my pick for the Super Bowl. I think if they win the Super Bowl against the Rams, it'd probably be by a field goal at the end of the game or something, close game. So yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Bills winning by a field goal, even though it's at LA. There's going to be all the celebration about them winning the championship last year. So definitely, there could be some distractions, for the Rams that first game. They got a lot going on, a lot of partying, things to celebrate. So yeah, so I'm going to take that Bills.
There we go. So the Saints are traveling down to the ATL to play Marcus Mariota and the Falcons. New look. Falcons are looking good in preseason, I think. There's some chemistry happening there. The Saints are favored by 5.5. I'm actually going to take the Falcons here. Again, Marcus Mariota, Oregon Duck homer-ness going on here. But ultimately, I really think the Falcons can win this game or not lose it by 5.5.
Who was your pick for the last game?
I took the Bills the Bills. So, so I'm taking the Falcons and here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take. Man, I'm going to take the Falcons at home just because. I haven't even seen Winston at all this year. I don't know if he's been practicing that much, and for that reason, I'm not saying the Saints aren't going to win the game, but I don't know if they win 5.5 on the road week one when they don't have a lot of chemistry yet with their quarterback. So yeah, I think I'll take the Falcons to not lose by a touchdown.
Very, very good. Kim is also taking the Falcons. Thank you, Kim. Stay on our good side here. No, kidding. All right, get back to banners over here. Sorry. So 49ers are going to the Windy City to play Chicago, and the 49ers are favored by 7. And I have no problem taking the 49ers here.
Yeah, it's an easy one for me. The Bears are in a total rebuild. Fields is still young. They lost more on defense than I think they added. I don't see the Bears as a very good team, unfortunately, this year because I am, somewhat of a Bears fan. But I think they're just in full rebuild mode, and I see this should be a fairly easy win for the Niners.
Very good. All right, so Bengals favored by 6.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have never had a losing season, and I think this year is going to be that first one. I'm easily going to take the Bengals here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals here too, just because they're coming back from being the Super Bowl winner as long as they're healthy. I see them taking this pretty easy. The thing for last year, the Steelers' leading tackler was their safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick. If your safety's your leading tackler, you're not doing real great.
No.
If the back end is having to make all the tackles. So yeah, I'm definitely taking the Bengals.
Yeah, it's all right. So Philadelphia hitting the road, playing the Detroit Lions, and who do you got here?
Eagles. Like I said, I think the Eagles might be one of those sneaky teams this year. They get A.J. Brown back. Their defense is pretty solid. They have good veteran leadership on that defense. You get Brandon Graham back healthy. You have Fletcher Cox, who on the D-line are veterans. You got Slay in the secondary, who's a veteran back there. So, you got veterans in the front of that defense, veterans in the back of that defense. I think Hurts will only get better that he has A.J. Brown now. Plus, he can run well with the ball. So if something breaks down, he can still get yards. But yeah, the Lions I think are going to be better. Their coach is very passionate. He's fun to watch, especially if you watch him on that Hard Knocks show. The Lions are on it. So, I mean, he's a passionate guy, former player. Almost his whole coaching staff is former players. So they're going to be fun to watch, and I think they'll get better. They're just not ready yet. And I don't think Goff is the guy that's going to get them there. So I still think they're a few years away, but I think they're going to be getting better, but not good enough yet to beat the Eagles.
How far you fallen if you're Jared Goff? You know, I almost feel sorry for him at this point. Maybe not, but all right. So, I didn't make my pick on that. So I'm on board with the Eagles. I just think that they're bringing back a lot. They've got a lot of consistency there. It has to be a productive year for them though, and so yeah, I think there's a lot on the line for the Eagles, and they have to perform, and I think they'll win this by 4. All right, so moving on to the Dolphins and the Patriots. So, you know, the flashy fast Tyreek Hill, can he outrun the Patriots secondary? And you know what? I'm actually going to take the Dolphins by 3. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Well, so, I love their new coach because he was the 49ers offensive coordinator for the last few years, and I was really sad to see him go. You know, he's a great, energetic, younger coach. It's really hard, though, to pick week 1 against Bill Belichick when he's had a whole summer to plan for Tua, who isn't, you know, exactly a MVP quarterback candidate in the league yet. I'm going to differ with you here, and I'm just going to take the Patriots, and it's going to strictly be about coaching because I just think you give Bill and his staff that much time to, you know, find all the negatives Tua has, which everyone seems to think he has a lot. Maybe they double Tyreek all day and just make everyone else beat them. Yeah. I mean, he's got Waddle. Waddle's a very great number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
And he worked well with him last year, but I think just for coaching, and it's only 3 points, I'm going to take the Patriots.
All right, so at least we will not tie after week 1.
That's right.
All right, so moving on down to the Ravens are at the Jets. The Ravens are favored by a touchdown and an extra point. Who do you got here?
I have the Ravens. I think the Jets are playing Joe Flacco, who he doesn't have much to throw it to. He doesn't have much to hand it off to. He can't move anymore. He's our age. So, I mean, and he hasn't played in some years because he's just been back up. I'm sure he can still do things or else he'd be retired, but you got a healthy Lamar Jackson back that's going to be running all over that Jets defense, and you get Dobbins back for the Ravens, so he's got a good running back there. I think, the Ravens, just have a lot more talent and better coaching on their side that they'll win by a touchdown. And the Jets are just terrible. I feel sorry for Jets fans. I mean, I can't even remember the last time they were decent, maybe the early 2000s. And still then it was like, I mean, they didn't have really a quarterback you could get behind. Chad Pennington was the best quarterback they've had in years. Like, they're not bringing in any household names or someone's trying to get a football card out of the pack of for probably the last 2 decades. So, it's tough being a Jets fan. I'll just say that.
Oh, I agree. All right, moving on down to the the Commanders. I hate that name. Gosh, I hate that name.
No one's buying Commanders gear. Nobody's buying that.
Oh God, I feel sorry for the players. I feel sorry for the players, the coaches. It's still a shit show there. Anyway, the Commanders are favored though, and so I'm assuming it doesn't say at, so I'm assuming the Commanders are at home. And probably are getting that home field field goal advantage there. Taking the Jaguars to win this game.
They brought in a lot of free agents. They also have a new coach. For all those reasons, I don't know if they'll gel quite yet. I'm going to take the Commanders at home, even though they have a new quarterback in Wentz. But I like the coaching better right now. The Commanders still, they do have some talent. McLaurin at receiver.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's real talented. Gibson's pretty good out of the backfield. They do have some defensive guys that can play pretty well, even though they lost Kerrigan to retirement. And I think Chase Young is out for maybe the first 4 games. So their big DN that was hurt last year, I don't know, starting the season. But I still think the Commanders have enough to beat the Jaguars. Now, if this game was the middle of the season, you might see me take the Jaguars. I just don't think maybe they'll be ready week 1. But as they gel together, I think maybe I would take the Jaguars later in the season. But for the first game at home, I'm going to take the Commanders.
Okay. Probably the game of the week right here. Panthers-Browns, a big middle finger FU from Baker Mayfield
I love
to the
it.
Cleveland organization. There is so much going to this. There is only one person who wants to win this football game, and that is Baker Mayfield. He is going to rally his troops to say, I don't care if we lose the rest of the season. We are not losing today. Today we will be victorious. I'm taking the Panthers. I'm surprised it's 2 points. But I'm taking the Panthers because, I'm taking the Panthers. I want Baker Mayfield to win this game. I've been on Baker Mayfield, in the past in Cleveland where it was appropriate. I don't think that was all on him. He made some dumbass mistakes, down the stretch, and we've called him out on those. But the Browns have basically given up the next year. Any chance of being competitive, I think, next year. And I don't think that Deshaun Watson coming back is gonna change that. So I'm taking the Panthers to easily cover these 2 points.
I'm also going to take the Panthers, and there's part of the rude guy in me that just wants to see Baker Mayfield get a rushing touchdown and lay down and have one of his teammates act like they're giving him a massage for the celebration.
Oh.
And that would be in NFL lore as one of the best celebrations as an FU to his ex-team in the history of the game. That would be amazing.
And that would be a 15-yard penalty if it was taunting. I would take that. I'd be okay with that as a coach. Absolutely.
I just think that would be the most hilarious, biggest FU you could ever give if he was able to do that. Because what are the Browns going to say? But yeah, I'm taking the Panthers. They get Christian McCaffrey back. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's the old Christian McCaffrey, so he's a huge weapon. You can give him the ball 40 times if you have to. They still have DJ Moore, who's a very good receiver for the Panthers. You have, Robbie Anderson, who's up and down, but he can play. The big thing that I'm going to watch is the only thing that's going to save Cleveland this year is they have a very good offensive line. And they have 2 very good running backs.
Yes.
In Nick Chubb and Hunt. So Jacoby Brissett isn't going to have to lead the team. He's not going to have to make all these crazy plays. He did get Amari Cooper from the Cowboys, so he has a good receiver there. But he's not going to have to do everything. So that's what's going to help the Browns. And so in this game, what I'm going to be really watching is that Browns offensive line against Burns and the Panthers defensive line, because if they can help Jacoby and give him some time, that will definitely help the Browns. But the Panthers do have some decent guys on the defensive side of the ball to pressure Brissett. So I think that Browns O-line that Panthers D line is going to be a big thing to watch in this game. But I think the Panthers have enough, and Mayfield, like you said, will be motivated enough to win by a field goal at home against his old team.
Yeah, and and moving forward, I know what you just said about all the talent that's still in Cleveland, and there's a lot of it. But if you take out the one X factor, what have you replaced? Right, you took out Baker Mayfield and put in Jacoby Brissett, and what did they do last year? So it's not, the result is not even going to be comparative to what they did last year with Jacoby Brissett in there, because you can't compare him to Baker Mayfield. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is an all-star. I mean, just this, fantastic quarterback, but he's a lot better than Jacoby Brissett. And so, yeah. So anyway, I hope that, what was it? I don't know. Is it State Farm, Allstate, whatever? I hope they keep doing his Baker Mayfield at home, or at home with Baker Mayfield. And I hope they do a moving one or some stuff, and have fun with it. Hopefully he kept that sponsor and they have some fun with making some of these commercials this year. All right, moving on. We've got the Colts traveling down to Texas and playing the Texans. And, we both agreed that the Colts were going to win their division. So to do that, I think the Colts have to win this game. It is 8 points. So, you're taking on a little bit more if you're a betting person, because you're now over a touchdown and a extra point. So I'll still take the Colts here to cover.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the reason is who's the starting quarterback for the Texans, Chuck?
Fuck if I know.
You could ask people in Houston and they wouldn't know. Like, it's Davis Mills. Nobody cares. Sorry, Davis Mills. You're not watching our show. Hopefully someday you do, at least for the beer portion, because you're not going to want to watch the portion where we talk about the Texans. Yeah, they have a quarterback that nobody knows or cares about. And in the NFL, you have to have a quality quarterback to win games. It's, in the history of the NFL, only a few Super Bowls have been won by average quarterbacks, and that's only because their defense was phenomenal. Like one of the best defenses in NFL history type defenses most of the time. So, yeah, I have the Colts winning this easily by 8. You could probably put 10 on here, and I would take 10. Houston doesn't have anything yet. They're in a rebuild big time, but until they basically tank this season and can get a high drafting quarterback or something, get a free agent quarterback in there. Why they wouldn't have tried to get Jimmy Garoppolo, I have no idea. Maybe he wouldn't go there. Maybe he said, yeah, no, I'm not going to Houston. I don't know what kind of clauses he had at the time, but I mean, there are backups all over the league better than what Houston has starting right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just for that reason, I don't think they're going to put up hardly any points this season. So, yeah, look for me picking any team against the Texans this year, basically. Yeah, they're going to be in the bottom of the league, I believe.
Is it possible that the Texans do not win a game this season? I mean, we'd have to look at the schedule to make that, but
the whole thing is, I mean, I'm banging on Mills though, but tell me any other talent they have on the team.
Cooks.
The running back's a rookie, Pierce, which we don't know. Cooks is definitely the best thing they have on the team. I mean, do they have any studs at defense? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I mean, like I said, if you're opening up that bubblegum pack of cards and you don't recognize anybody on the whole team for a team, and you don't want any of those cards, you got a very good roster. I mean, I can't tell you anybody that made, maybe Cooks, that made the All-Pro team, Pro Bowl team. I can't think of one really great player I want to watch for the Houston Texans. I mean, you're buying tickets because you live in Houston. I'm not going, if I'm a 49er fan, I'm not going to watch the Texans play the 49ers unless it just means it's a cheaper ticket because no one wants to see it. I mean, there's nobody I want to watch on the Texans except for Brandon Cooks. That's it. I don't care about any other player on their team.
All right. All right. Well, we've certainly beaten up on the Texans, so we'll speed up on one of these teams. We got the Titans at home against the Giants. Titans are favored by 5.5. I'm not a fan of the Titans, but they're definitely better than the Giants. So I've got to take the Titans in this game by 5.5.
I'm going to take the Titans also. I think if this was at the Giants, maybe I'd take the Giants not to win, but not to lose by a touchdown. Just because the Giants do get Saquon Barkley back. I do think they're getting a little bit better. Daniel Jones was a little bit better last year than he was before, but not a lot. And he doesn't have a lot to work with. I mean, he doesn't have a great receiving core. They really need to help him out with getting him, at least a go-to guy there. They thought it was going to be Galladay, and he came from, I think, Dallas, and he didn't do anything that he was supposed to do.
Or the Lions.
And he was hurt. But, yeah, the Lions. But he didn't do anything that they thought he was going to do, really. And then everyone else is banged up all the time for him. So, and then the Titans get a healthy Derrick Henry back, which nobody wants to tackle that guy. So Tannehill doesn't have to really lead the team that much anymore. He can hand it to him 40 times and play action and figure all that stuff out. But I'll still take the Titans. The Giants aren't there yet.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to be picking the where I'm allowed. I'm not going to be taking the Titans much this season, but I just think that this is one, and and maybe we might lose this maybe on the point spread. Maybe it's a field goal game. And not 5.5 points.
It's a nice home opener for them, though, to get the Giants. Like, that's a nice home opener.
Yeah. All right, so we've got the Packers going to Minnesota. Packers are favored by 2 on the road. Who do you got here?
I'm taking the Vikings at home. I'm not confident. I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is great, and he's got Jones, and he's worked with some of these receivers, Cobb, Lazard. He's got receivers he knows there. But I just, I don't know how healthy David Bakhtiari, his tackle, is coming back off of injury from last year. And I don't think the Vikings are bad. The Vikings they got a lot of talent. I mean, it's really underrated, the stats that Cousins puts up every season, and everyone's like, why does he get paid so much? It's like, look at the season-ending stats. He's not the one losing games. I mean, his wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, in his first 2 years of his career has had better seasons than anyone in NFL's history, his first 2 seasons in yards and touchdowns. You got Thielen, you got Cook, you got on the other side Harrison Smith's an all-pro safety, you got Kendricks at linebacker. So they have some defense. So I feel like talent-wise, the Vikings have more talent, and they're at home. So I think I'm going to take the underdog in this. So I'm going to take the Vikings at home this first game.
Yeah, but it all comes back to the Vikings. How do they do in the playoffs?
This isn't the playoffs.
I'm
just picking this game. I'm only picking this game.
Well, you were just earlier talking about how great everyone was at the end of the season, but it doesn't translate into playoff wins. I'm also going to take the Vikings, and it might be the 1 week I don't take the Packers because I need to see Aaron Rodgers, what he's got to work with and how he's rallied his receiving core. Because if he can't sling it, he's not going to run it, and so I think it's going to be a challenging year for Aaron Rodgers, and maybe should have just held out and gone to a different team or something. I don't know, or retired. But it's gonna be, and this guy could end up being the NFL MVP again, I guess. To be able to say, hey, I can take Cobb and a bunch of rookies, and and tear it up. So, but yeah, this first game I'm also taking the Vikings. Also, it's not a game that where I'd like to take the Packers, that I want to lose a game to you. So I'm also for that reason taking the Vikings. It's not the cross I'm going to die on for that game. Chiefs are coming here, home game for my Cardinals. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Chiefs should win this game. But you know what? To be honest, I think the Chiefs' defense is pretty darn good. Um, it is a home game, and I will not be attending this one. I've got 4 others I will be, but I won't be attending this one. And Chiefs by 3.5. I'm going to take the Cardinals. Maybe the Cardinals only lose by a field goal. But I think the Cardinals have a pretty good defense, and the Chiefs also no longer have Tyreek Hill for Mahomes to just sling it out there to for big plays. So he's going to have to really work with his receivers, and I don't think anyone should get blown up in the secondary for the Cardinals. I hope. So I'm taking the Cardinals, if anything, for the points.
Yeah, I'm going to be there right with you. I'm going to take the Cardinals because I think the Chiefs are one of the teams, even though Mahomes is great, I see them sliding backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I see them starting to take a slide back from where they've been the last handful of years. Losing Tyreek Hill and that speed on the offensive end is bigger than the average football fan knows.
Yeah.
Because you have to double him the whole game almost. You have to have a safety committed to whatever side he's on, playing deep, or else it could be an 80-yard touchdown. So, you take that away now, and you got a guy that can go wherever he wants, and you don't have to commit a whole extra body to another, to one guy. I mean, it's gonna be hard, a lot harder for Mahomes to make those big plays and to, rack up the stats that he did in the past without a receiver like that. I don't know who's going to take over that spot for Hill or if someone will be able to walk in and do that, but I haven't seen that person on the team so far. I mean, that guy did so much, and their running backs aren't amazing. They don't have a great run game. Their defense is still okay, but they lost some guys on defense, and where I think the Cardinals are gaining people. So Connor, is great. They got him a year ago. He's played well. You get Marquise Brown in there. I don't think he's Hopkins, but if you got to replace Hopkins with someone, Brown's not a bad.
No,
he's a number 1 receiver for the Ravens. So you got another number 1 basically on the field. So I think that gets you by early in the season just fine. Zach Ertz is back to playing great tight end, last year. So I don't see him. Plus Murray can run all over the place and get you, rushing first downs with his legs. If it's 3rd and 3 in there in shotgun, he can easily get you that first down. So I'm taking the Cardinals too. You got a healthy J.J. Watt on the field as a leader and back, and they have some good young defensive players. So I think the Cardinals not only could, beat the spread, I think the Cardinals can win this game. So,
yeah. All right, so moving on down to Chargers at home against the Raiders. Chargers are favored by 3. I have them winning the Super Bowl, so they have to start their Super Bowl run somewhere. And so I think the Chargers will beat the Raiders, and I think the Raiders, Carr's got a little bit more tools to throw to, but they're still the Raiders, and the Chargers, like I said, they're on the upswing. They invested more into their defense this year, and for that reason, I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I got the Chargers too. I think this is one of my games of the week. I mean, I'm really excited to see this game. The Raiders did make the playoffs last year. They do get Adams. They got a lot of good pieces. They have, Crosby on defense applies pressure. He's got a great motor on the D-line. But the Chargers, just with the talent they got on both sides of the ball now, it's a home game. I'm going to take the Chargers to get this division big. This is a big division game, first game of the year. So you're at home. You need to win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving on. We've got 2 games left to pick, and I'm guessing this might be the Sunday night game. Bucks Cowboys, and so Tampa Bay is coming halfway across the country, I guess. Texas. I was thinking the Rams in my head. So they're coming to play the Cowboys in Dallas. Bucks are favored by 1.5 on the road. I'm taking the Bucks on this one. The Cowboys just
It'll be a good
like you
game.
said earlier, they haven't done anything this year. They're just going to try and ride it with what they got. They know they don't have. I mean, I don't know what's happening there in Dallas, but it's not them boys.
I mean, yeah, they got Dak had great stats last year, but that didn't necessarily turn into wins, obviously. And he lost maybe his best wide receiver, and they didn't replace him with anyone I don't think of the same quality as Amari Cooper. Ezekiel Elliott's on the wrong side, I think, of his career right now. You might see Pollard get more playing time at some point than Elliott.
I would take Pollard if I was drafting and I needed a running back in the last two, or Elliott and Pollard. I'd take Pollard, even though I know that Elliott is going to get more touches. But for what you just said, I think Pollard will end up with more touches.
Yeah, and I think he's at this point he's definitely he's going to give you bigger plays. He's going to he's going to get you probably per carry catching out of the backfield. He's going to give you better plays than Elliott will. But I can't go against the GOAT, especially when it's only 1.5. I mean, you got Brady back with all the weapons. He lost Gronk, but Brate is an okay replacement coming up. But he just got Julio Jones, who he might reinvigorate a Hall of Famer career Julio Jones because he gets to be the third wide receiver. You have Evans, you got Godwin. Julio Jones was double teamed half of his career. Like, now he gets the third best defensive back on a team. That can't be terrible. And you got Fournette, who really showed he can play still, the last couple of years. So yeah, I gotta take the Bucks.
Yeah, I'd say Fournette struggled last year because I had him on my fantasy team and he didn't do well and I had to bench him. And I think he was hurt for a little bit. But the year before, he was phenomenal because I had him on my fantasy team. I picked him up on one of my teams this year. But I think that Brady's got a lot of tools, and as long as Brady stays healthy, that team will do just fine. And so, yeah. All right, so I guess last game, Monday night, another I don't want to say Baker Mayfield. I mean, I don't think there's any hate with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. But why this spread isn't like 21, I don't know. Because, I don't think that, top to bottom, you look at it, both teams top to bottom, and there's probably, you'll pick out a Russell Wilson versus, I can't think of the quarterback's name in Seattle.
Exactly.
But which one they're going to put out there? The kid
Geno. They're going to put
Smith,
out there.
Geno Smith, but you're not going to sit. Top to bottom, these teams I don't think are really better than anyone, and I think that factor is just going to come down at this point to who the quarterback is. Wilson is at least a recognizable name, and looks like he's energized and ambitious to be in Denver. I got the Broncos covering 6.
Yeah, I think I do too. The only thing that's good for the Seahawks really is that they should have Jamal Adams back, their stud safety, which he's going to have a hell of a game because he's going to have to make a lot of tackles in that secondary. They have Diggs, who's good back there too. So at least they have a couple guys in the secondary that can make some plays. I just think they're not going to be able to make enough. Jordan Brooks, who had like 170 tackles from the linebacker spot from the Seahawks last year, now loses Bobby Wagner, who also had like 150. So those guys made every tackle, and now you lose a guy that made 150. So is Jordan Brooks going to have 240 tackles this year?
No.
No, Jamal Adams is going to have to basically at the safety spot come up and make a ton more tackles. And then the Seahawks offense is just, you got DK there where if he doesn't touch the ball every time, he's pissed off. But you do have a stud in Lockett as a great veteran receiver. Yeah. With their offensive line, I mean, if Russell couldn't get it done, do you think Geno Smith is going to be able to get it done? Locke obviously isn't the guy. So I just see I see the Seahawks really going in the wrong direction. Their rookie running back is hurt that they drafted, and who knows if he'll be much at the start of the year. Chris Carson, their starting running back, had to retire because of neck injury. So now Rashad Penny's the starter, which he played very well at the end of last year. But I don't know if he can sustain that over a whole season. But yeah, Broncos have this game, I think, pretty easily, and Russell can, wave to everybody and, hold hands with Sierra and walk off the field and be like, yeah, maybe this is the last time I ever play in Seattle, depending on the schedule in the future. But and he just signed a ginormous 5-year extension this week, which is crazy, but good for him. But that's where he's ending his career, is in Denver, that's for sure. But yeah, so I don't know. I see Russell. Yeah, Russell can, give Pete a wink at the end of the game and be like, good luck, dude.
Yeah, see in the Hall of Fame maybe when they enshrine us. All right, well, that's it. Week 1 is in the books for our picks and predictions. I think we had 2 games that we differed on. The Dolphins and the Patriots, and the Commanders and the Jaguars. Otherwise, we were lockstep and with our picks and predictions. And so, so if you're watching the show on replay this week, go ahead and put in your picks or just pick a game, whether it's your team's game. Put in who you think will win or cover the spread, and let us know what you think. And because there's a lot of opinions out there, and we're only 2. And But Dave has a lot of fantastic game and stat knowledge, and so usually I will defer to him on a lot of things. Yes, and thank you to who was that again?
Mason Ale Works.
Where are they out of again?
San Diego.
San Diego. And so thank you to them, and also Grand Canyon Brewing here in Arizona for the Sunset Amber Ale. It was delicious, and I will be enjoying that. I got put some ribs on the smoker this morning, and a couple racks, and I'll be enjoying those in about it's 5 hours. So it's a 6-hour smoke. So So anyway, folks, thank you for joining the pregame show, and enjoy your week. And we will see you all back here next Sunday at 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and that's Pacific Standard Time. And so have a fantastic football week, and we'll see you then. Bye.